You didn't find this moment by accident. You've been guided here, and something deep within you already knows it. The divine isn't distant right now, it's closer than your own breath, speaking directly to your soul. As you read these words, a quiet confirmation rises in your spirit. This is the turning point. These next 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, are not just part of your week. They are set apart. They have been divinely appointed to awaken, uplift, and entirely transform your life. There are moments in life that are casual and forgettable, and then there are moments that split time in two, the before and the after. What you're standing on now is a divine threshold, one that marks the end of a long season of waiting, struggle, and silent prayers. And on the other side of it is a life you barely dared to imagine, coming into focus with divine clarity. Heaven has scheduled an encounter with your name written on it. The energy has already begun to shift. What has felt stuck is beginning to loosen. What once felt foggy is starting to come into sharp clarity. The breakthrough isn't coming later, it's already on the way. Your spirit can feel the anticipation building, even if your mind can't fully comprehend it yet. This is what it feels like when destiny starts knocking. And it is knocking now. You've been faithful in the dark. You've believed without proof. You've carried dreams others couldn't understand, and hopes that felt delayed far longer than expected. But now, divine timing has caught up with you. The heavens are aligning with every hidden prayer and silent tear. It may feel surreal at first, almost too good to be true, but don't doubt the reality of what is happening. Your breakthrough is not a fantasy. It's been divinely orchestrated. Over the next 3 days, your inner world will begin to shift so dramatically that it will ripple out into every area of your life. You are stepping into divine acceleration. No longer will you be stuck in the cycle of almost or someday. These are the days where things start happening suddenly, and not by your own strength, but by divine orchestration. Where once there was delay, now there will be movement. Where there was confusion, now there will be peace. Where there was lack, now there will be overflow. There is a stirring in the spirit realm, and you're not watching it happen to others anymore, it's happening to you. These are your days of transformation, and not just in surface-level ways. This is a change from the inside out. What's coming is not a small adjustment, it's a total realignment with your highest calling and deepest truth. You are being reintroduced to yourself, not the version you settled for, but the version God has always seen. The first day will be unlike any other because it will awaken something in you that's been sleeping for far too long. Expect to feel a pull to pause, to reflect, and to listen, really listen. The divine will whisper to your soul in ways that bypass logic. You'll begin to see your past with fresh understanding, your present with renewed hope, and your future with bold clarity. What once seemed hidden will suddenly become obvious. What confused you for years will make perfect sense. It will feel like someone switched on the lights in a room you didn't know you were sitting in. Answers are coming. Clarity is arriving. It will not come with noise and chaos, but with a quiet certainty that settles deep in your spirit. On that day, God won't shout, he'll whisper, and you'll recognize his voice, not because it's loud, but because it resonates in a place only he can reach. You'll look back and realize this was the day your spirit woke up. The day your heart said, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. The second day will feel like a bridge between the spiritual and the physical. Everything you've been believing for in the spirit will begin to take shape in the natural. You'll notice a shift not just in your feelings, but in your world. Opportunities that felt distant will start to draw near. People who are aligned with your growth and healing will suddenly show up. Conversations will change. Circumstances will shift. Doors will begin to open in places where you had only seen walls. This day is about convergence. The spiritual insights you received on the first day will begin to manifest around you. You'll feel a new energy in your body, a vitality that tells you something has changed even if you can't fully describe it. You may find yourself smiling for no reason, feeling lighter, standing taller. That's not your imagination. That's what alignment feels like. This is also the day where your faith will turn into sight. For years, you've believed in things without evidence. You've spoken life over dead areas. You've held on to promises that felt delayed. But now, you'll start to see the fruit of your perseverance. You'll recognize how every delay was actually divine preparation. The moments you thought were setbacks were actually setups. And everything begins to make sense in the light of divine timing. Don't be surprised if something you once saw as impossible begins to unfold naturally. Don't question it, just receive it. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The universe is responding to your obedience and alignment. What you asked for in private is now showing up in public. The physical world is catching up to your spiritual truth. On the third and final day, expect miracles. This is the day of overflow, of divine release, of impossible things becoming reality. It will feel like the heavens open just for you. Not just in one area of your life but across the board. Finances, health, relationships, purpose, peace, joy, all of it, like a flood of blessings pouring in with such force that you're almost overwhelmed by the goodness of it all. This day will be the confirmation that everything you felt over the last 2 days was not just emotional, it was spiritual. And it was real. The transformation will be so clear, so undeniable, that even others will notice. You'll carry yourself differently. You'll speak with more confidence. You'll radiate peace and power. People will ask you what changed, and you'll struggle to put it into words, because how do you explain a divine encounter? Miracles will show up in unexpected ways. An email, a phone call, a healing, a financial release, a relationship restored, a sudden burst of clarity about your calling. The shift will not just be internal, it will echo into every part of your life. You'll look back at who you were before these 3 days and barely recognize that version of yourself. This is the rebirth, the reset, the rising. You are not being improved, you are being transformed. This isn't about becoming a better version of who you were. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. You're shedding layers that were never yours to carry: fear, doubt, shame, hesitation. In their place will rise confidence, conviction, clarity, and power. There's a new fire in your soul. A new calm in your spirit. A new strength in your stride. You're not chasing anymore, you're attracting. You're not begging anymore, you're receiving. You're not surviving anymore, you're thriving. These 3 days are your divine appointment. They are heaven's invitation to step fully into your purpose. To stop shrinking. To stop questioning. To stop waiting. And to start walking boldly into the life that has always been waiting for you. It's not just about what happens during these days, it's about who you become because of them. And who you're becoming is powerful, peaceful, and deeply aligned with your purpose. You were not created to live a small, fearful life. You were created to lead, to shine, to love boldly and live fully. And that life begins now. You are not alone in this. The divine is not distant. It is here, now, active and alive in your story. Guiding every step, orchestrating every connection, opening every door. You don't need to strive. You need only to align. Let these days be the confirmation your spirit has been longing for. You are ready. The time is now. The transformation has begun. You may have thought that the transformation was about achieving a specific goal, reaching a certain milestone, or seeing one area of your life shift. But this journey isn't about a single event, it's about the total awakening of your spirit to the life you were destined to live. These 3 days are the spark that sets off a lifetime of divine alignment. And once the fire is lit, it will not be extinguished. You will begin to experience life differently. The way you view time, opportunities, and even challenges will change. You'll no longer panic at delays or feel abandoned in silence. Instead, you will see them as divine signals, pauses with purpose, moments sent not to punish, but to prepare. Your awareness will sharpen. Your spirit will become attuned to the whisper of God's direction even in the mundane. Grocery store lines, silent mornings, long drives, these will become sacred spaces where insight drops in like rain on dry ground. This transformation isn't loud. It isn't always dramatic. But it is steady. It is deep. And it is lasting. Every thought will begin to filter through the lens of your newfound clarity. No longer will you ask, is this for me? Instead, you will confidently declare, if it's aligned, it will come. If it's not, I release it. That inner certainty will act like a compass, gently correcting your path every time you drift. The beautiful thing about these days is that they don't just change your circumstances, they change your inner landscape. Where there was once fear, peace will dwell. Where insecurity once echoed, confidence will speak. And it won't be a forced confidence. It will be quiet, still, yet unshakable. The kind of confidence that doesn't need to prove anything, because it knows who it is and where it's going. This is when you begin to live your life forward. Not from the lens of your past mistakes or missed chances, but from the truth of who you are now, renewed, revived, realigned. The divine isn't holding your past against you. In fact, it's already been used as preparation for the assignment ahead. Those moments you thought disqualified you, they've actually equipped you. The pain, the delay, the questions, all of it was a setup for this very chapter. You were being prepared in private for what will now manifest in public. You may notice the way you talk begins to shift. Your words will carry weight. Your silence will carry wisdom. Your presence will carry peace. Not because you're trying to impress, but because your spirit is aligned. People around you will feel the change, even if they can't name it. Some will be drawn to it. Others may distance themselves from it. That's okay. This elevation isn't for everyone. It's for the chosen, and you, whether you always felt like it or not, are chosen. As this new chapter unfolds, expect to be misunderstood. Not everyone will celebrate your rise. But that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It just means you're no longer playing small to keep others comfortable. You're stepping fully into your divine role, and with that comes separation. Not to isolate you, but to elevate you. The crowd can't go where you're being called. And that's okay too. Some relationships may fall away. Don't cling to what no longer fits. Let them go with grace. Because as you release, space is created for new people, new opportunities, new alignments that match your frequency. You'll realize that what you once chased is now chasing you. Why? Because your energy has shifted. You've stopped begging the world to see your worth. You've started walking in it. This is the era of divine flow. Not hustle, not striving. Flow. That doesn't mean you won't work. It means your work will be fueled by peace, not pressure. You'll be led by divine nudges, not forced deadlines. Ideas will come with ease. Solutions will arrive naturally, and even the challenges will carry within them the seeds of breakthrough. You'll begin to trust the timing of your life. Not everything needs to happen right away, because now you understand that divine timing is never late. It's just precise. You'll also begin to recognize signs more clearly. A feather on the ground. A number repeated. A sentence in a book that jumps out at you. You'll begin to live in conversation with the Divine One that is subtle but consistent. There will be no need to beg for signs. You'll simply live tuned into the frequency where they already exist. And that alone will deepen your peace. On this new path, there will be moments when your old self tries to resurface. The fear, the doubt, the need for control. Don't resist it. Just notice it. Breathe, and gently return to alignment. This is not about perfection, it's about presence. The presence of mind to come back to truth again and again until it becomes your default. Growth is not a straight line. It's a spiral upward. Trust the process. As you walk forward, something miraculous will begin to happen. You'll become a light for others. Not because you try to be, just because of who you've become. Your story, your presence, your peace will serve as a mirror. Others will see themselves in you and begin to believe that transformation is possible for them too. This is not about becoming a guru. This is about becoming a guidepost. A reminder that yes, alignment is real. Yes, healing is possible. Yes, life can be miraculous. And as you step deeper into your calling, provision will follow. Not just money, but resources, relationships, opportunities. Everything you need will show up, often at the last minute, but always right on time. There is a grace that follows obedience. And you are walking in that grace now. You'll also notice your relationship with your body shift. No longer an object to be judged or fixed, it becomes a sacred vessel. You'll treat it with more kindness, more attention, more reverence. Not from shame, but from love. Because now you understand, your body is part of your spiritual journey. When your soul is aligned, your body responds. It heals, it softens, it strengthens. Your sleep may deepen, your creativity may awaken, your appetite may change. These are not random, they are signals. The transformation is working its way through every level of your being, spirit, mind, and body. Even your sense of time will shift. Days will feel fuller, moments will feel sacred. You'll begin to experience life in the now, rather than constantly chasing the next. This presence will be your power, because it's in the present that miracles occur. Not yesterday, not someday, now, and in this present moment, the divine will continue to speak. Sometimes in a whisper, sometimes through another person, sometimes through synchronicity, but always with the same message: you are on the path. Stay aligned, stay open, stay ready. There may be moments when you question yourself, when old fears try to drag you back into survival mode. Don't be discouraged. That's the echo of who you used to be, not the truth of who you are now. You're not that person anymore. You've done the work, you've listened, you've risen, and now you're walking in the blessing. This is your reintroduction to the world. The unveiling of who you were created to be. This is not a chapter, it's a whole new book. And every page will be written with divine ink. You'll make decisions that would have terrified the old you. You'll say no to what you used to tolerate. You'll say yes to things that once felt out of reach. Because now, you know your worth. And more than that, you believe in your assignment. You'll feel the divine favor resting on you. Not in arrogance but in awe. Not in entitlement but in gratitude. Because once you've tasted this kind of alignment, nothing else satisfies. Once you've walked with divine flow, you never go back to chaos. You've seen what's possible. You've lived what others only dream about. And now, your mission is to keep going. To keep listening. To keep showing up. To keep trusting that what's ahead is even greater than what you're walking through now. You are no longer waiting for the miracle. You are living in it. These 3 days are just the beginning. The real journey is what happens next. And what happens next is beyond anything you've dared to hope for. Everything has changed and yet, it all feels strangely familiar. As if you're not becoming someone new, but finally remembering who you've been all along. This isn't just growth. This is revelation. And now that the veil has been lifted, you cannot unsee the truth. You are not who you were before these 3 days. You are awakened, anchored, activated, and nothing will ever be the same again. This is the part of the journey where everything begins to integrate. The clarity you received in the first wave. The manifestation you witnessed in the second. The miracles that fell like rain in the third. All of it now finds a home in your day-to-day life. The sacred has moved from the sky into your schedule. What was once just prophecy is now your lifestyle. What was once a whisper is now a rhythm. You've stepped into a frequency of favor that most only dream of, and it's not leaving you. Not because of perfection, but because of alignment. You've let go of the masks. You've walked through the fire. You've answered the call, and the reward is not just in what you receive, it's in who you've become. You are no longer operating from survival mode. You are rooted in purpose. Every step you take is intentional. Every word you speak carries weight. And every connection you cultivate is divine. The people you are meant to impact are already being drawn to you, not because of your platform, but because of your presence. There is something about you that feels safe, sacred, and strong. That's not marketing. That's spiritual resonance. You may begin to notice doors opening without knocking. Opportunities that once required effort now arrive effortlessly. You may feel a wave of peace in moments that used to cause panic. That's the fruit of divine recalibration. The world around you hasn't changed as much as the world within you. And because your internal world is in order, your external world begins to reflect it. This is the power of alignment. You no longer have to chase. You attract what belongs to you by becoming who you were meant to be. You don't need to force anything. You are the open gate, the magnet, the beacon. Favor finds you because your spirit is now walking in its rightful lane. Your vibration has shifted from desperation to expectation, and the universe always responds to that shift. You're not just hearing God anymore. You're walking with Him, step by step, moment by moment. There's no need to beg for signs because you've become one. You carry evidence of the divine in your energy. People feel it before you even speak. It's in your eyes, your posture, your silence. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You've embodied the proof. And now, you're being called to lead, not in the traditional sense, but in the sacred sense. You're not here to control. You're here to guide. You're not here to dominate. You're here to elevate. Your leadership is rising, not from a need for power, but from a place of responsibility. You carry light, so you shine. You carry truth, so you speak. You carry presence, so you show up. This new chapter will demand more of your authenticity than ever before. You cannot hide in old identities. You cannot shrink to make others feel comfortable. You cannot deny the pull of your purpose. The old version of you is gone, and to pretend otherwise would be to betray the very transformation that saved you. Don't be surprised if the pace of your life changes. Some things will speed up. Others will slow down. Let it happen. You are not bound by human time. You are moving in divine rhythm. Trust the flow. Some doors will close, and you'll feel a strange peace about it. Some people will leave, and you won't feel abandoned, you'll feel released. This is divine pruning. You are being trimmed for greater fruitfulness. God is not just blessing your life, He's editing it. He's clearing the clutter, making space, removing the unnecessary so the essential can breathe. Don't fight the shifts. Don't mourn the losses. What is leaving now is making room for what is meant to live. And what is coming cannot be contained in an old structure. This is why you've been called higher. To build something new, a new pattern, a new rhythm, a new legacy. You are not here to repeat the cycles you came from. You are here to break them. to rewrite the story, to raise the standard, to redefine what's possible for yourself and for those watching you. Because make no mistake, people are watching you, not for your perfection, but for your authenticity. They don't need someone flawless. They need someone real, someone who's walked through the fire and came out glowing, not because they avoided pain, but because they were transformed by it. This is your ministry now, to walk in your truth so fully that others feel safe walking in theirs. To live with such peace that it creates a sanctuary for those around you. To embody such clarity that others begin to believe they can find theirs too. You are the evidence, the example, the living prophecy, and with that responsibility comes an invitation to stay rooted. Don't let elevation pull you into ego. Let it ground you in gratitude. Keep your heart soft. Keep your ears open. Keep your soul surrendered. The same grace that lifted you will continue to carry you if you stay connected to the source. There will be moments when old patterns try to return. Not because you've failed, but because you're human. The difference now is that you recognize them instantly. You don't entertain them. You don't spiral. You simply return to center. You come back to truth. You realign. That's what spiritual maturity looks like, not perfection, but presence. You'll also notice your vision expanding. Things you once thought were too big will start to feel possible. You'll catch glimpses of the future that once terrified you and now they excite you. That's how you know your soul has leveled up. You're dreaming differently now, not from fear, but from faith. Not from wounds, but from wisdom. And your dreams are not just for you. They're for the collective. Your expansion is an invitation for others to expand too. Every breakthrough you experience becomes a blueprint for someone else. Every elevation you walk through becomes a signpost that says, yes, it's possible. Yes, you're worthy. Yes, there's more. You'll start creating differently, from overflow, not obligation. Your work will carry new resonance. Your art, your words, your actions, they'll all be infused with the energy of your transformation. You are no longer just creating content. You are creating impact, legacy, ripple effects that stretch far beyond what you can see. And as your external world continues to catch up with your internal awakening, you'll realize something profound. Peace is the real prize. Not the platform, not the numbers, not the applause, but the deep, quiet knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. That you are loved, led, safe, whole. From this place of peace, you'll make your boldest moves. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you're following divine instruction. Every risk will be guided. Every decision supported. You're not guessing anymore, you're discerning. You're not reacting, you're responding. And everything flows from that sacred posture. This is where life gets magical, not because everything is easy, but because everything is aligned. Even the hard moments feel purposeful. Even the losses feel like upgrades. Even the quiet seasons feel rich with meaning. Because now, you understand, nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Everything is working for you. The person you are becoming will not need to force or chase. They will simply embody. They will live in alignment. And from that alignment, abundance flows. Love flows. Joy flows. Clarity flows. All of it naturally, effortlessly, abundantly. You've done the work. You've walked the path. You've listened when it was hard. Trusted when it was painful. Believed when there was no sign. And now, you are being rewarded not just with gifts, but with revelation. Not just with blessings, but with boldness. You are a new creation, a new force, a new frequency, and as you carry this energy forward, know this, the transformation wasn't a moment. It was a launch, a doorway into a whole new way of living. One where faith leads, where peace reigns, where divine timing rules, where your spirit is the loudest voice in the room. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new one, and it's being written in real time. With every decision, every step, every act of faith, you are writing your legacy. You are living your divine assignment. So walk tall, walk soft, walk true. You're not who you used to be. You are walking prophecy, living truth, embodied grace, and the world is about to see just how powerful a surrendered soul can be. You've risen, now it's time to reign. You've crossed a threshold, and there is no going back. The old is not just behind you, it has been dissolved. You no longer belong to who you used to be, nor to the cycles that kept you hidden, quiet, or small. What once confined you has been shattered, not by external forces, but by the explosion of truth within you. Your spirit has been claimed by something greater purpose. And now, you are being asked to live as though you know who you are. This is the season where your identity is no longer an idea, it is a presence. You carry it in every room. You speak it in every word. You reflect it in every decision. Not because you're trying to convince anyone, but because you're done negotiating your truth. You've encountered yourself on a divine level, and that encounter demands a new way of being. This is no longer about becoming. This is about embodying, being, living it out, walking it fully. But here's what no one tells you. It's not always easy to live as your awakened self in a world that celebrates numbness. The old environments will still exist. The old people will still try to see you through yesterday's lens. The same systems, structures, and familiar patterns will try to call you back into comfort. And yet, something in you has changed so deeply that even the thought of going backward feels like betrayal. This is the uncomfortable truth of elevation. It will cost you familiarity. It will stretch you beyond your past preferences. It will ask you to love from deeper places and release from higher altitudes. You're not just being called to a better life. You're being called to a truer life, a life so aligned that anything false begins to disintegrate just by being in your presence. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel a bit isolated. That's not a punishment, it's protection. In this chapter, solitude is sacred. God is hiding you, not because you're not ready, but because He's refining the clarity of your voice. The world is loud, but your message must be pure. And purity often requires separation. Don't resent the quiet. Don't curse the slowness. These are the final brushstrokes of preparation. What's coming demands integrity, strength, and a rooted spirit. You are not just being raised, you are being planted. There is a depth forming beneath the surface of your elevation. While others see the fruit, God is focused on your root. Because this time, He's not building a moment, He's building a movement. And movements are not born in noise. They are born in obedience. Your obedience in this season won't always make sense to others. They'll wonder why you turned down the opportunity, walked away from the spotlight, or chose the narrow path. Let them wonder. You were not created to explain your purpose. You were created to fulfill it. Some things are too sacred to be justified to people who don't carry your spiritual blueprint. You've been equipped with divine discernment. Use it. Every offer isn't alignment. Every connection isn't covenant. Every open door isn't yours to walk through. Your new frequency will attract both real and counterfeit. But your spirit knows the difference. Trust it. If it doesn't feel right in your bones, it's not yours. You're not desperate anymore. You're not waiting for permission. You're not seeking validation. You've been assigned. And that's enough. The anointing on your life will begin to show. Not because you announce it, but because you walk in it. There's an authority in your tone now. A weight in your silence. A peace in your presence. That's what happens when you stop running from your identity and start living it. You don't have to force impact. You are impact. And that's why the enemy has fought you so relentlessly. Not because you're weak, but because you're powerful. Because you're awake. Because you're carrying something that has the potential to free generations. Your pain was never personal. It was always prophetic. You were being refined in the furnace of divine preparation. You were forged in the fires of opposition, so you could stand in the presence of kings and not tremble. You are the answer to a problem. The solution to a system. The voice to a silence. The light in a generation that has grown comfortable in shadows. And this is the season where your voice must rise not just louder, but clearer. You are not here to echo what's already been said. You are here to reveal what's never been heard. But this revelation comes with weight. You'll have to be intentional with your energy. Guard your gates. Protect your atmosphere. Every conversation is not for you. Every battle is not yours. You're not here to prove your strength by fighting unnecessary wars. You're here to preserve your strength for divine assignments. Don't waste it. You may feel the urge to simplify, to detach, to move slower, speak less, rest more. That's not laziness, it's alignment. Your body is catching up with your spirit. Your system is integrating the upgrade. This version of you requires more stillness because power is flowing through you now, and it needs clear channels. Even your relationship with success is changing. You're not measuring it by numbers anymore. You're measuring it by peace, by alignment, by obedience. You're learning that favor isn't always flashy. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it feels like letting go. Sometimes it's walking away with your head held high, not because you're proud, but because you're clear. You've stepped into divine stewardship. Everything you touch must be tended with intention. Your time, your talent, your territory. You are not the same, so your schedule cannot be the same. Your habits must reflect your healing. Your decisions must reflect your discernment. Your relationships must reflect your revelation. You don't just carry wisdom, now you live it. This is not a moment of hype. It's a moment of holiness. God is trusting you with influence, not to elevate your brand, but to reveal His nature. The love, the power, the clarity, the peace that's not just for you. It's flowing through you. You've become a vessel, and that means the flow must stay pure. You are no longer asking, what do I want? You are asking, what have I been assigned to build? Your prayers have shifted from comfort to calling, from escape to expansion, from survival to strategy. You are not playing defense anymore. You are building, planting, structuring legacy in real time. And legacy isn't just about what you leave behind. It's about what you live now. It's not a monument. It's a mindset. It's not a destination. It's a decision. Every day, in the small things, you are writing a story that will echo long after you're gone. Make it holy. This is the season where heaven and earth will meet in your daily life. Miracles won't feel like interruptions, they'll feel like your norm. You'll experience provision without striving, breakthrough without burnout, insight without overload. Your spirit has become so aligned that your surroundings are starting to bend to your truth. You will begin to notice synchronicities that defy logic, conversations that shift your life, encounters that confirm your calling, solutions that appear out of thin air. That's not luck, that's alignment. That's what happens when heaven backs your steps. You're not just favored, you're funded by the divine. And in that funding comes authority, not to control but to co-create. You are not begging life to give you a seat at the table. You are building your own table, and you are inviting others to sit not based on status, but on spirit. You are shifting culture, not by force, but by frequency. You are embodying what people didn't even know they needed. This is what revival looks like, not just packed rooms and loud prayers, but healed people living whole lives. Quiet revolutions led by aligned hearts. Restorative leadership, sacred joy, deep peace. That's your portion now. And as you walk this out, never forget, you are loved. Not for what you produce, not for what you perform, not for who approves of you, but because you exist, because you are divine breath wrapped in flesh, because you were chosen before you were born. Your value is not up for debate. It is eternal, so walk in it, own it, breathe it. Let the world feel your alignment before they ever hear your words. Let your peace preach louder than your posts. Let your presence be your platform. You don't need to shout. You've become a sound. You are the answered prayer of your ancestors. The living proof of divine redemption. The walking miracle your younger self never saw coming. You've risen. You've endured. You've aligned. Now rule. With grace. With humility. With spiritual fire. With open hands and a grounded heart. This is your time. Not because you claimed it, but because you were born for it. You carry the frequency of a new era. The tone of a healed generation. The strategy of heaven, the echo of eternity, and the world is about to witness what happens when a soul surrenders completely to divine timing. This is not just your next season. This is your full becoming. There comes a moment after transformation when the quiet returns. Not the silence of emptiness, but the calm after a sacred storm. The lightning has struck. The thunder of breakthrough has rolled across your soul. The fire has burned through everything false. And now, you stand in the aftermath, not in ashes, but in clarity. Not in ruin, but in radiance. You've passed through the gates of divine initiation. And now, you are being called into the art of continuation. It is one thing to be awakened. It is another to remain alive. This is where many lose their way in the space after the encounter. The space between miracle and maturity. Between the word spoken and the life lived. But not you. You were not brought here to burn bright for a moment and fade. You were brought here to carry this fire forward. To steward the light. To hold the oil. To become a living, breathing embodiment of what heaven looks like on earth. And that work, the work of keeping your spirit ablaze, is sacred. It is daily. It is intentional. The elevation you've experienced wasn't the end goal. It was the beginning of a new covenant with yourself, your creator, and your calling. And now that you've glimpsed the truth of who you are, the responsibility is simple: never forget. Don't forget the voice that called you out of the pit. Don't forget the moments when everything fell into place, not because you forced it, but because you surrendered. Don't forget the presence that wrapped around you when the world had no answers. Don't forget the tears, the release, the clarity, the yes. These were not random experiences. They were divine instructions carved into your memory. Not to keep you in the past, but to remind you what's possible when you stay aligned. So here, in this sacred continuation, you are invited into a new kind of rhythm, one that is not driven by hustle, fear, or external noise. This is the rhythm of heaven. It beats like a second heart in your chest. You'll feel it guiding you, moving you, speaking to you when the world is silent. It is a pulse you cannot unhear. In this rhythm, time stretches. Miracles fold into minutes. Peace becomes your normal. You begin to recognize what doesn't belong, not from judgment, but from discernment. You're no longer impressed by status, speed, or surface-level blessings. You're drawn only to substance, to spirit, to resonance. That's how you know you've shifted. Your cravings have changed. Your eyes see differently. Your soul wants only what matches your assignment. Sustaining this space requires discipline, but not the kind rooted in pressure. This is divine discipline, joyful stewardship, holy repetition, prayer without pretense. Worship without agenda, silence without fear. You begin to crave the quiet again because it's where your power comes from. You stop treating devotion as a duty and start treating it as oxygen. There's no checklist for this kind of walk. No blueprint for this kind of life. Because what you're building now has never been done before, not like this, not by you. You are not here to copy. You are here to create. The architecture of your life is being designed in partnership with heaven. And every brick is laid with intention. Every room holds purpose. Every corner is filled with light. You are not a follower. You are a foundation, a pillar, a lighthouse for others still lost at sea. You don't need to scream from rooftops to be seen. You carry too much light to remain unnoticed. You've stopped begging to be understood. You've stopped shrinking to be accepted. Now, you simply show up. Fully, freely, authentically. That is your power. Your identity no longer wavers with opinion. It no longer bends under pressure. You know who you are because heaven told you. And that confirmation carries more weight than any praise or criticism. That knowing is unshakable. It doesn't flinch in uncertainty. It doesn't panic in delay. It simply waits, not in stillness, but in confidence. This confidence is not arrogance. It is awareness. It is the byproduct of a soul that knows it's been chosen. You no longer ask, am I ready? You ask, am I willing? Because readiness is a myth. But willingness is a weapon. Willingness to move, to speak, to risk, to trust. You are willing now, and that changes everything. As you move in this sustained elevation, the fruit begins to multiply. You'll notice the small things first: conversations that heal, opportunities that align, people drawn to your peace. And then, the larger waves will come: assignments you never applied for, influence you didn't seek, doors you couldn't have forced open. This is the harvest of alignment. The reward for showing up when it wasn't convenient, for staying faithful when nothing made sense, for choosing the high road when the low one was easier. You've been seen, you've been heard, you've been kept, and now you are being released not just into blessing, but into legacy. Legacy, that word is no longer abstract. You understand it now, not as fame or fortune, but as frequency. Legacy is the echo of your obedience. It is the vibration you leave behind in rooms you never return to. It is the imprint of your integrity, your kindness, your clarity, your truth. You are building something that will outlive you. Every aligned choice you make sends a signal to the next generation. This is how you live free. This is how you live full. This is how you walk with God when the world says it's foolish. You are not just becoming. You are becoming a blueprint. The weight of that truth is not heavy. It's holy. It's grounding. It anchors you in purpose when the world tries to distract. It reminds you why you say no, why you wait, why you protect your energy, why you retreat to listen, to breathe, to rest. You are not hiding, you are honing. You've become a frequency that cannot be faked, a vibration that cannot be copied. What flows from you now is unique, authentic, and magnetic. You don't manipulate outcomes. You magnetize them. You don't chase favor. You carry it. You don't ask for validation. You embody value. Your inner world has become so sacred that anything unaligned cannot survive in your presence. You don't fight low vibrations anymore. You transcend them. You don't debate your worth. You walk in it. You don't explain your vision. You live it. This way of living doesn't come without resistance. But now, even resistance feels different. It no longer breaks you. It builds you. You recognize it as confirmation. The more aligned you are, the more friction you'll feel from misaligned environments. But you don't shrink to fit anymore. You expand to lead. You don't apologize for your clarity. You don't dilute your voice. You don't soften your truth. You deliver it with grace, yes, but also with fire. The fire of someone who knows their assignment. The fire of someone who's been through too much to pretend. The fire of someone who sees too clearly to play small. And that fire is not destructive, it's catalytic. It ignites others. It wakes them up. It reminds them who they are. That's your ministry now, not just to shine, but to spark. Not just to heal, but to activate. Your light is not just for you. It's a torch, a guide, a lighthouse. In this chapter, your presence is your power. Your consistency is your witness. Your peace is your offering. And your obedience is your compass. You don't have all the answers, but you're aligned with the one who does. And that's more than enough. You'll begin to see your life move in harmony. What you need will come when you need it. Who you need will appear without chasing. Where you need to go will be revealed without striving. You are living in spiritual flow, and that flow is sustainable not because of perfection, but because of posture. A heart wide open, a spirit surrendered, a life consecrated. You've made your choice not once, but daily. To walk in truth, to walk in love, to walk in divine rhythm. And because of that, you will not fail. You will flourish, quietly, boldly, beautifully. This is what living in divine continuation feels like. Not a high, not a moment, but a movement within you. A presence that guides, speaks, comforts, corrects, and loves. You are not waiting for a move of God, you are the move. You are not hoping for confirmation, you are the evidence. And now, as you go deeper into this life, may you never lose sight of the miracle you've become. May you guard it, honor it, share it, and build from it. You are no longer just living. You are leading, loving, lighting the way, not for applause, not for approval, but because you can't help it. You've been chosen, you've been changed, you've been charged. Now go live like it.